Oh no.
On this monumentous day that is 420, we keep doing these podcasts with different holidays. You know, we had our St. Patrick's themed episode, we had our Easter themed episode, and now we're here, 420. Time to light them if you smoke them if you got them.
I know. I was gonna say something really inappropriate, but I feel like I know I'm gonna anger some people on the internet, so I'm just gonna pretend I'm not gonna say it. Anywho, yes, happy 420 day. I got my brownies right here.
Happy birthday, Hitler.
No, that's what I was gonna say. And I'm just waiting for everyone to be like, I can't believe they like Hitler now. Like,
Level with me. It approves of Hitler and all his actions. I'm sure there were many other people's birthdays on 420. Who they are, we don't know, but they exist.
Oh, I know. My mother, actually. It's actually my mom's birthday.
So there you go.
Yeah, and I've always made jokes like, hey, Mom, your birthday's the same birthday as Hitler.
Mama Collector's Vault.
Whoops. That was my phone. Yeah, and that's why I had to be sure to always be on our good side. You never know.
Mom, what are in these brownies that you got for your birthday? Huh, these taste funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's like, Mike, don't eat those!
Did a skunk spray these?
Yeah. They smell like the backyard. But they taste pretty good. And why am I seeing sounds and hearing colors?
Why do I want to keep eating these brownies, weirdly enough?
Yeah, why is my hunger increasing as I eat these?
I'm pretty sure one Danny Sexbang of the Ninja Sex Party and also Game Grumps told a very similar story to that, so I think that's where I just pulled that from. Where one time he just ate a weed brownie and then just continued to eat the weed brownies because of the munchies. It's a vicious cycle.
Yep. You eat the brownie thing, okay, I gotta satisfy this hunger. And then the hunger grows. And you're like, I don't understand, why is it not working? And I'm getting very sleepy.
What if you could pick like one game to like be the epitome of like 420, what would it be? I have mine.
I don't know. The video game to be the epitome of 420. Like, as in like a game that you can find yourself playing on 420, or like it just symbolizes 420?
I guess a game you could find like playing on 420. Like a game that you would give like a stoner to really blow them away. I mean, at the end of the day, I assume stoners pretty much just play whatever they want. But my example was going to be like Katamari Damacy. I feel like that's a really like weird out there game, but it's also like super bright colors.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just something that I would go with.
Say...
You could just pick Super Mario Bros. You pick Fortnite. You know, it could literally be anything.
Well, I was going to say it's Mr. Pants. I'm not sure if you ever heard of that game.
Is that a board game? Or
no,
a video game too?
It's a Game Boy. I think it's like a Game Boy game or a Game Boy Advance game. It was made by Rare. Go figure. And it's a really weird puzzle game with like really, really weird sounds and stuff. I just feel like that's the kind of game a stoner would play and just be like, "Oh, this is insane." It looks like a children's like coloring book.
Yeah,
kind of
I've never seen this before. Published by THQ.
It's a really obscure game.
We got some characters here. We have, of course, Mr. Pants in his bright red underwear. I guess that's all he wears. And, oh, my bad. He also has is it called a bell hat or what? It's not a top hat, but it's like those like rounded hats that they would wear. Like Sir Topham Hatt from Thomas the Tank Engine would wear one. You know, it's like one of those rounded, like brimmed hats. I forget what they're called.
Yeah. I don't know.
Here, I need to send you the full roster that I'm looking at right here, just to give you the visual. So you have Mr. Pants. He is like, he's got a mustache. He's rocking.
He's kind of like Captain Underpants. Like
Mr. Pants is quite ripped. He's rocking a good 6-pack.
Yeah, and he has like, you know, just his biceps are just bulging.
He got legs that he could run for miles and miles and miles. Watch out, Flash. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we have Mrs. Pie. That seems very inappropriate, actually.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That's not how the female figure is built. I'm sure.
Also, I can't understand if she's wearing a hat or those things are also her hair, and I'm not sure what's going on here.
I think there's a tarantula on her head. That's what it is.
You guys need to look this up. Just search Mr. Pants game. You'll find this crude drawing.
It's pretty hysterical.
This drawing, I think, is a great... this is just the epitome of what 420 represents. Okay, so moving on with the roster here.
I'm so happy I got the right answer, essentially.
I mean, just looking at their house, it looks almost like a bong. Like the chimney's on the side. Yeah. It's not on the top like a regular.
Yeah, and all that smoke coming out of that chimney.
And there's a tree right next to it. The tree has apples in it for munchies. I feel like I'm solving the Da Vinci Code here. Okay. We got Toby. I assume that's their son. He kind of reminds me of like Tommy Pickles a little bit. He's just like a weird little baby boy. For some reason, he has like 6 fingers or 7 fingers. Let me count. 1, 6 on the one hand, 2, 4. Like he has 7. On the other. 7 on the other one. Okay. He's but these like are very crude like stick figure drawings. So just imagine like the most bare bones Tommy Pickles you could draw with like the fewest lines and shapes. And then he's also wearing a green shirt for some reason because I don't know, they didn't want to actually color. They're standing on grass, so they probably just didn't want to actually change, put too much effort into it. And last but not least, we have Socks the dog, who looks like he is wearing socks. I'll give him credit for that. And then we have Vest the cat, who does not look like he's wearing a vest. So I don't know what's going on there. I can confirm, though, that is what a dog and cat looks like, as you own a dog and I own a cat, so...
Oh, yeah, it looks just like Leo.
Now, I really want a fan to just, like, take this quote-unquote Mr. Pants art style and just, like, draw the level with me, like, group. They could even do Megan and Amanda if they really wanted to.
Oh, my God, that'd be amazing.
I know.
I don't remember who from Rare actually drew these, but, like, this still image is one thing. If you ever want to look up the gameplay, it's just a really weird puzzle game. That's all it is. But this is like, again, I think this is exactly what a stoner would play on 420 while under the influence.
You know what? I mean, I'll give Rare credit. I definitely couldn't draw any better than them. I tried.
I think it's way better than any of their Donkey Kong drawings or anything,
Well, those are models. See, this is the best they could draw, which is why they're like, okay, we have to actually sculpt these figures because we don't know how to draw.
We can't do it, but the computers can do it. And then they got Donkey Kong Country, and it was just like, my God, this is so much better. I could just see them like yelling at I can't even think of it, like Greg Mails. Like, all right, Greg, let's see what you got. And he's like, how about this? And he's like, oh my God, we're doomed. We're going to go bankrupt. Don't worry, we got these silicon computers too. We'll try these out. Oh, this is much better.
This is like one of those weird random gem games that I've never seen that like this is just waiting for like a famous like YouTuber who like finds all these
to
weird
make it popular.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh.
Like I'm surprised AVGN hasn't covered this game yet. Maybe it's not old enough. Maybe he has to wait for certain dates to be considered quote unquote retro.
I don't know. I think this is pretty retro. It's from like the early 2000s.
Yeah, it was Game Boy Advance. Oh man, it's crazy how old that thing is.
It's so sad.
Hell of a platform.
Oh yeah, great console. I love the Game Boy Advance.
Well, I mean, I don't clearly have much of a pivot from the 420 and Mr. Pants. I mean, Mr. Pants. That I'm gonna be thinking about Mr. Pants for the rest of the night. That's just a weird one.
Yeah.
Microsoft bought Rare. Like, why are they just sitting on this hot IP, Mr. Pants, and not making a new game?
I know they were all worried about like the weird like Kinect, like the Xbox Kinect like games and everything. While this diamond in the rough was just like sitting in the back room. My God,
Battletoads who? Where's Mr. Pants? Sea of Thieves? Sea of Thieves? Where's Mr. Pants?
I would love it if Mr. Pants was like he'd be the perfect thing to do as like an Easter egg. Like you are just playing like you're playing Sea of Thieves and like you found like just like a random island. There's nothing in it. Oh my God, a treasure chest, and it's just Mr. Pants.
That would be amazing, and it's like those retro levels from Doom where like you go in there and everything's just like shitty hand drawn, like this image we're looking at, and then there's just a 2D Mr. Pants somewhere, and you just talk to him.
To be fair, Mr. Pants, you know what? He kind of would be like more terrifying than Slender Man in the right situation.
Again, I don't know how they're not maximizing on their Mr. Pants profit. They literally could sell Mr. Pants branded bright red underwear, and I would buy them.
And that hat too. I would buy the hat. I'd buy. If anything, I would love to just dress up as Mr. Pants for Halloween, and everyone's just like, I don't know. You kind of look like I was going to say you look like Charlie Chaplin. You look like Hitler wearing red underwear. Yeah. Speaking of Hitler's birthday, so.
Also, I can't unsee this, but Mr. Pants's underwear pants are the same as the roof on this image I'm looking at, just like flipped.
Oh my god! I did not.
I can't unsee it. I just keep seeing it now.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's our Mr. Pants segment of the podcast. Tune in next week where we go over all the Mr. Pants lore and fan fictions out there. I'm sure there's a Mr. Pants subreddit or something like that.
Oh, I'm sure.
They didn't send me the right stuff. I don't have enough weeds to cover more Mr. Pants. And next week's not even 420, so at that point I'll just have a problem.
Can't stop laughing. I'm trying not to laugh into the microphone.
How do you follow up Mr. Pants? It's like this is comedy gold. I don't know where to pivot. I just want to talk about my week, about how I ate food or whatever, but it's Mr. Pants. Like, it's great. I've never seen this before.
If anything, I feel bad that I never played the game, because I think it's actually one of those games, and don't quote me, but I think it's like, I shouldn't say I assume, I think it's an expensive game, because it's one of those games that like never sold well, so it's like really, actually, I'm going to check eBay right now while we're talking. I think it's called GBA, It's Mr. Pants. And I wouldn't be surprised if the game's like $60 or something. Nope, it is much more than that.
I am actually looking for, here we go, I want to see the Mr. Pants Metacritic and see some reviews of Mr. Pants. Look at that, a Metacritic score of 73. That's not bad. Mr. Pants is a single-player game. It is a puzzle. Let's see here. Let's read one of these reviews. Let's go with Game Boy Advance Central. I think they would know what they're talking about. Let's read the blurb. Although the strange graphics and sounds of this game seem to have been grafted onto your average puzzle game, the result is quite pleasing. Game Informer says, an addictive and oddly likable revisitation of the genre's heyday. The genre's heyday? What? Are they saying there were other Mr. Pants-like games?
Or maybe just like puzzle games, I guess, as a whole.
Also, I just want to point out that if I try to go to GBA Central's domain, it sends me to a dead link. And it's like, hey, do you want to buy other domains? Like, the site's not even real anymore. Go figure.
That's funny.
Maybe this little site called Eurogamer might still be working. What a weird game.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't mean to, again, go on too many different tangents here, but it almost reminds me of, have you ever seen or heard of Strong Bad and Homestar Runner? It's kind of got that, like, aesthetic going on.
Homestar Runner, yes.
Okay, well, Strong Bad's a character from Homestar Runner. He's like the luchador guy with the big boxing gloves. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Pants. I literally don't know how to follow that. Or It's Mr. Pants, excuse me. That's the proper title. When is he getting in Smash? Come on.
Actually, that's a very good point, Corey. I mean, Banjo and Kazooie are one thing, but where's Mr. Pants? And the Echo Fighter, Toby.
We over here at Level With Me are asking the real questions. We're pretty much making the third fighter pass for Smash Ultimate. Okay, first we got Bubsy. Now we got Mr. Pants. We're still creating the list, though, so we have like 4 more characters, you know. We'll figure it out as we go. They got time. They still got 2 more characters on the hopper. We're good. We got some time to plan out.
Now I'm upset because I know Mr. Pants will never be in Smash.
Mr. Pants Cast, Mr. Cast Pants.
I do like the Pants Cast.
The Pants Cast.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to write that down. But yeah, happy 420. Thank you, Mr. Pants, and your weirdly Charlie Chaplin hat that is again related to Hitler.
It's a derby. Is that what it's
called?
Yeah. I just realized it's called a derby.
Yeah, like the race.
I didn't Google that one either because you would have heard me clicking on my keyboard like this. So I didn't cheat.
That's a good factoid for like Jeopardy. What was the name of the hats? Well, it wouldn't be like that, but
Mr. Pants wore this stunning hat.
What? The iconic giant bright red underwear wearing video game character Mr. Pants rocked this type of hat.
Let's go to Mike. What is a beanie hat? Oh no, that's the Price is Right sound. I forget what the sound is on Jeopardy for.
If they get it wrong, I don't think there's a negative sound. They just lose all their money.
Yeah, I think it's like, and then like Alex Trebek just meets him in the backyard and says, "All right, so where's that $20,000 you owe me?"
I was gonna say that is a fact. If you go negative in Jeopardy, Alex Trebek will come with a baseball bat and be like, "All right, now you owe Jeopardy $2,000.
You owe Alex some money."
Yeah, you don't just gamble with that willy-nilly. You got to pay someone. That negative means it's coming out of your pocket. That's the risk reward of going on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
You can look that up. That is factual truth.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Alex Trebek has to pay for his medical bill somehow. Oh, too soon.
Oh,
I'm going to hell now.
Rest in peace.
All right, good night, everybody. I'm gonna go to bed because clearly I'm.
Luckily, it's 420, so we can meet Satan down there and spark up.
Yeah. Oh well, that could be my excuse. I just had one too many brownies. That's why I'm saying these terrible things.
Satan and Little Nas X.
Nas X.
Oh no. You need to be educated. You gotta look up.
Oh no! Here we go.
I think it's. I think the song. I think it's just called "Call Me by Your Name." It is blowing up. Lil Nas X is LIL space NAS space X. I believe it's 3 different words. Yeah, and then he made a new song. He's like one of the new popular like TikTokers / like rappers, and he originally did the song "Country" like. "I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road," and then his new song came out like a month ago, and he's basically like riding a stripper pole all the way from heaven to hell, and then he does like a lap dance on the devil. You should watch it. It's a good music video. It's wild. It's
I'm looking at it right now.
It's a good theme for 420 as well because he goes on quite the trip.
Oh. I'm very happy that we're meeting all of our 420 quotas. You know, we're just naming all the crazy music videos to listen to, the games to play,
and don't you wait.
Snacks to enjoy.
Yeah, don't you worry, listener. I know you guys are all legally and responsibly doing your 420s, and I'll be happy to let you know that here at Level With Me, we personally have meatball pizzas all coming to your houses. So when those munchies start to kick in, you get the Level With Me special, the meatball pizza.
Yeah, we got you covered.
And they're green meatballs in spirit of 420, you know.
Oh.
No other holiday makes like green items, right? I don't think so.
Well, in October, I do love having me some green ooze coming out of my Reptar bars.
Oh yeah,
my tongue green.
Cadbury Scream Egg. You're right.
Yeah,
dude. Real talk. I always wanted one of those Reptar bars.
Yeah, as a kid, I remember watching it. I'm like, oh my gosh, is there such a thing as like? And even as a kid, I knew there wasn't a Reptar bar, but I'm like, I wonder if there's a candy that has like that turns your tongue green. And it doesn't exist.
Reptar was legally distinct Godzilla. That's all.
Yeah.
I actually remember. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I can't wait to go watch Reptar versus Kong.
I was gonna say I remember when I was very young, probably like 6, and I went to the Great Busch Gardens in I think it was Virginia. There's a Busch Gardens on the East Coast. I forget what state it's in, but it's really cool because
I'm pretty sure it's Virginia.
It's pretty cool because it's like, it's not just an amusement park, but a theme park. And their theming is that each of the different areas in this Busch Gardens are basically like different parts of Europe. So there's like Ireland, there's like a Norse area with like Viking themed stuff. And like I think the Irish area has like some sort of a Loch Ness monster like roller coaster or something like that. It's really neat. But anyways,
yes.
One of the things, like, how at amusement parks they have like all those stalls you can go up to and you can play like the little carnival games, like throw a baseball at a bunch of milk bottles or whatever, and if you knock them all down you get, I don't know, a stuffed Stewie from Family Guy or whatever. Well, when I was like 6, they actually had these really nice stuffed Reptars that were probably about like 7 or 8 inches, so they were pretty like sizable. Actually, they were pretty big. I feel like they might have been like maybe a foot and a half. They were like a decent size stuffed toy, and I was a big fan of Reptar because even at that young age, I like Godzilla. My mom showed me some of the Godzilla movies, and I was like, I kind of want to go win that. And I feel like I was still like a little kid, like I was almost like, can you go win me this, Mom? Like to get the prize. Now here's what we had to do to win the prize. This wasn't just a game. You actually had to go on stage and kind of like perform to people in the audience. So for example, I think it was all just like basically there was like a host and the host would just make you do something. And if you, I guess, did it correctly, I don't even know how you won. I guess it was just on the preference of if he said you won or not. But anyways, I remember I had to go up on the stage. There's probably only like 20 people plus like my family, like whoever was there. And I think he made me sing, I think it was Mary Had a Little Lamb. Like he made me sing like the whole song. Like 6-year-old me. It was very random. And I don't even think I made it through the whole thing because I was very shy when I was younger. But he's like, it was a good attempt anyways. What do you want? He was actually pretty nice about it. Like,
I don't want to do it. I don't want to sing. Oh, you're going to sing and you're going to like it.
That also reminds me of another story about amusement park, arcade, or carnival games like that as well. Where one time me and my family were in Disney World and we were at Animal Kingdom, and it was right when the new like dinosaur themed section of Animal Kingdom opened up. It might have actually been right when Animal Kingdom. I think that might have been there when Animal Kingdom opened up, because Animal Kingdom opened sometime in the 90s. It was the like last expansion to the Disney World parks. But anyways, there was like one of those classic. I forget what it's called, but it's the one where you have to just you swing the hammer and have to have the thing hit the bell to win a prize. And
the mallet and bell game. Whatever.
Yeah, and at the time it was me, who was probably like I'd say 10 or 11, my sister, my mom, and I think my grandma was with us. And there was some dinosaur toy I wanted. My mom, I think she gave it like 2 or 3 attempts, and nothing against my mom, but she's not the strongest lady. It's not like she's out there like deadlifting 150 pounds every day. She couldn't do it, but God bless her, she went up to like just some really strong random fellow, and I'm pretty sure it was just like, hey, can I give you like $20 to just like win this toy for my son? And again, God bless that random Samaritan, because he did. I don't even remember what toy it was. Probably, again, like a stuffed dinosaur or who knows what, but I got it. Shout outs to that random guy in Disney World in like 2006 or something. I don't know.
Sure, son, your mother already paid a couple $100 a ticket, so here, take this 35-cent toy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, thanks, mister.
Take this toy that you're going to just throw in a pile with all the other toys that you got.
Yeah. Take this toy that you're going to lose in the next 10 minutes in the park. And then we'll just pick it up and put it back on the shelf to be sold or won to someone else.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my Lord.
How many times have you, like, kicked yourself in the butt? Well, I don't know if you did this, Mike, but when I was growing up, my mom would also, from time to time, be like, okay, Corey, and she'd do this to my sister, too, but she'd be like, you guys have a lot of stuff. It's time to she gets out like these trash bags and would give it to us, and basically we can pick out like toys, you know, we don't like anymore, and we donate them to the Salvation Army or something like that. And I can't tell you like how much stuff I really wish I kept, because I had some really cool stuff growing up. I had like all the Zoids. I was super into Zoids when I was younger. I still wish I had like at least one of them. I got rid of all of them. I was really into Bakugan, like those little like marble transformer things.
Oh yeah.
I had a bunch of those. I even had a lot of the Transformers Armada series. That was the big one that I got into. That was almost like a reboot of the Transformers series in like the 2000s. And I had a ton of toys of those. I had like, in Armada, they introduced these things called mini-cons, which were just like tiny little Transformers. I literally had this huge bucket full of them. I had like 100 different mini-cons. I just loved them because they were tiny and they would transform. It's cool. But yeah, it's so many things just gone. Oh, another cool one is when I was really into Halo, they actually made like these really nice like Halo 3 themed laser guns. And they were actually like replicas of the plasma pistol from Halo.
That's cool.
And you'd actually get like these little like things you'd put on your chest. Like that's the thing that register your hits. And it was like Halo, where you could charge the pistol and shoot it for like massive damage. And like after a few shots, like on your shield thing, like you would hear your shields getting hit. And then even the guy from Halo would go like, "Game over," like the announcer. It was awesome.
That's kind of neat.
Did that happen to you growing up? Like, did you have to like donate some of your stuff because you had too much of it, or would you like hand it down to like siblings, anything like that?
I want to say my parents definitely just would do like some spring cleaning. Maybe they donate them to Goodwill or something. They did. It wasn't like, oh, we're coming in to like with a trash bag to make sure you keep all your favorites and let's donate these. It was more like we just kept everything, and then like when I was older and we were just going through like the crap in our closet, it was like, okay, we just gotta clean some of the stuff out.
Okay.
I mean, I would keep a lot of things. Again, I liked a lot of the stuff I had, but if it was like an old toy that I didn't really care for, then yeah, we definitely got rid of them. I will admit though, we definitely had like a lot of cool things growing up, like the Power Ranger action figures, which are probably worth a lot of money right now.
Yeah.
Like the Megazords. Oh my gosh, we had so many of those. I can only imagine. If they're not up in the attic still, I think we just gave them away to like Goodwill or something. That, or my dad sold them at a flea market. I don't know.
Also, I also want to pivot back and say, like, have you played or have like a grand like prize story for like those kind of like carnival style art or games? I keep wanting to say arcade games, but I mean, I guess they're technically arcade games in a way.
If I have a story with no, actually, my brother does. He's the one who is the luckiest son of a gun on the face of the earth.
Ooh.
And he actually does have a really cool, funny story. It's when, how old was he? I think he was in high school still. And he went to Wildwood with his friends. I think it was like prom weekend. And he went to one of the, like, you know, like the carnival games or the boardwalk, you know, like the boardwalk carnival games. It was the one where you have a baseball and you have to throw it at this platform with 3 blocks on it. And it's like, okay, it's like $5 a try, and you have to knock all 3 blocks off. And I think Eric, my brother Eric, he did it one throw, and he knocked all 3 off all once. He said he smoked it, and all 3 blocks just flew off the platform.
Nice.
And the guy was like, "Oh, cool, you win a prize." He's like, "Well, if you want, you can try. You can try again. You have to try." He's like, "You have to." I think he said he had to give like $5 more, and then if he can do it again within 2 more tries, he can get the TV, which is like the big prize that's sitting up there. It's the best prize you can get at the stand. And my brother was like, "Oh, I'm going for that TV." So I think he gave the guy like $5 more, and he threw the ball and he missed horribly. He's like, "Oh no, now I'm going to lose all my money." And then he said on the 3rd time, he just threw the ball and smoked all 3 blocks again. And he said, and he took pictures of this, the carny, I don't want to call him a carny, but like the guy who runs the stand was like mortified because it was like, it was prom weekends. It was like in May. And I'm sure that TV was supposed to sit there all summer to like, lure in customers, and they lost it in May. And the picture he sent to me where he's like, you can just tell like the carny just sitting there handing him the TV. He's like, "Oh, I'm getting fired today." And my brother's just like laughing. Oh my god, I just won a giant TV for like $10. So it's not my story, but it's his story, and I love telling it because of how funny it is.
That makes me think of all those like I've definitely sunk some money into these, but those like giant crane games where you have to like try to grab like the styrofoam square that's basically like, oh, if you actually get this in the little bin or whatever, you win like a brand new video game console, like an Xbox One or a PS4. And I've gone for those because I'm like, I'll throw $5 in here. What if I win a Xbox One for $5? That'd be a fun story. I've never come close. The closest I've ever came with one of those is the one where you have to stack the blocks. It might just be called like Stacker or something. I forget what it's called. It's a video, like a virtual thing for people who don't know what I'm talking about. You're not like physically stacking blocks.
Oh, I know this one. And there's like a light that goes back and forth, and you have to have the lights.
You have to time it, yeah, and kind of build like a tower. And it's all about like it progressively goes faster and faster the higher you go up. And there's different ranges of prizes. There's like the small like bitch prize, and there's like okay, this is a slightly better prize, and there's the top tier echelon, which is like, oh, you could win a 3DS, or you could win like an iPod Touch, whatever they're called. I was like, they don't even exist anymore. But yeah, I was trying to win, I think it was like a pink 3DS because it just looked really nice to me. Pink isn't my favorite color, but I was like, oh, I'll take a free 3DS. Why not? And I swear to God, this machine was rigged because I made it to the top. I want to say like 3 times. I probably sunk like maybe $30 or $40 on this machine because it pretty much like it sucked me in once I actually made it to the top to begin with, because I'm like, oh, I can definitely do this now. Because like the first shot that I had at almost winning, I'm like, oh, well, now I can win. There's no way I can't get that 3DS. But yeah, like I kept like mistiming that last block, and I swear it is rigged where it's kind of like, I don't know if this is true, but I believe it is, where a lot of the claw games will actually like change their grip strength depending on how many dollars are put in the machine. So from what I understand, it's like, oh, maybe like every 200th player will get a regular like strength claw that you want out of a crane or claw game, whereas all the other 199 fucks that are playing it before are going to get like a limp claw that barely like does anything.
I actually have the answer to this riddle.
Oh, here we go.
These actually are programmed that like it's like, in some kind of different manner, it's programmed to not work unless they have achieved a certain amount of money. So that's why like these things really are a scam, because like if not enough people have ever played the game, you'll never win. Like it is actually like impossible, because the game is designed to lose. I know you might think, oh, how is that even legal? But I mean, it is what it is, you know. Because technically, people do win. And if the machine receives enough money, it'll know, okay, then the next person who plays will win. And then the clock resets. And this is actually, it is confirmed. Like, there's like the games where, like, I know the one that was so annoying because it looks like, oh, it's so easy. It's like a machine where there's like an up and a down controller, then a left and a right controller. So for vertical and horizontal movement, and you can only move it, like, you only move in one direction once. So like when you stop, that's it. And it's like it's like a honeycomb pattern in front of you, and you have like a plunge. I guess
those are so hard.
Yeah, it's like a piston, so you have to line it up with like one of the honeycomb, or one of the. I don't think
it's almost like a tube.
Like, yeah, and in them is like the best prize is in the tube that's like just the right diameter for your little piston, and you think, oh, I can definitely make it work, and even when you watch it, it's like, oh my gosh, it's right there, and then, oh, I swear it's not touching the wall. Why is it going? Why did it not fit? Because it's designed to not cross that threshold until it receives enough money. So, essentially, they say if you want to try to win that game, you're better off watching a lot of people play it, and the more people who keep trying and failing, the better your odds are becoming, because you're getting closer and closer to that threshold of, okay, if it has received enough money, the next person can win the game.
I was going to say, it's literally like straight up gambling, because at the end of the day...
It is at that point, skill has nothing to do with it. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there's a minor amount of skill for like all those games because yeah, it's like aligning it or with a crane. I mean, that's pretty much all it is with most of them. It's just aligning it properly. But yeah, like you kind of have to almost rationale like, okay, if I'm looking at the big crane game and there's like the PS5 and the Xbox Series Xbox, I have a chance of winning this, but it might be really low. How much money am I actually going to put in here? Maybe like $10, $20, $50. And again, that it just becomes straight up gambling at that point.
Yep, pretty much.
Then again, though, a lot of those boardwalks in like Jersey have like just straight up like slot machines that you win like tokens or quarters, which is perfectly fine in my books, but it's probably a questionable thing.
Yeah.
Same with those like coin pushers or like those things where you shoot the coin out and try to time it in the right slot, you know.
Yeah, I know those.
That is
not very fun.
Unfortunately, the downfall of a lot of arcades, in my opinion. I preferred more of the game that you're actually playing a game and there's like, I guess there's more skill involved, like a Donkey Kong or a Pac-Man or something like that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Totally agree.
Pinball, I would actually like to look up more about pinball. I don't think that your little flippers will ever get stuck or anything. I think it's just there's a lot of likelihood that you're going to lose the ball because the well is like so wide. But I'm pretty sure like if you're good at pinball, you could play that for, you know, a few hours if you really wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, if you were a pinball wizard, you'd be doing just fine. He's a pinball wizard. There has to be a twist.
He's a pinball wizard.
Something that rhymes with fist. Do. Ah, magnificent.
Happy 420. Well, that was some interesting talks. Let's again, I didn't know how to pivot into this stuff before, but you know, we just went on a nice tangent there and people love it. I can't tell you how many of my friends have started like listening to the podcast now and they're like, "Oh, I love all these weird little tangents you go on about." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
Oh, really?
I like hearing
that. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, my she's technically not my mother-in-law, but I call her that. Megan's mom. She listens to the podcast.
She's your mother-in-law.
Pretty,
she might as well be.
Basically, yeah. And then one of my buddies at my job actually started listening to the podcast, and he's like, "Oh, I love hearing your discussions about this and that." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks." I try to explain this to a lot of people, but I'm like a very different person when I'm at like work as opposed to like, you know, hanging out. I feel like I get like way more like serious because I'm like, well, I'm at work. I need to take my job like as serious as I can because I don't know. Yeah. I just don't want to do anything wrong or I don't know. That's just how I look at it. I wish I could be more of myself at a job, but that's just kind of how it happens.
You mean you don't make meatball pizza jokes at work? Come on.
I mean, I do, and everyone just looks at me like some sort of weirdo. I mean, that's kind of how they always look at me.
Oh, Corey.
Thank you. I'll be here all night. Happy 420. What did I do this week that's not Fortnite or Fortnite? Well,
how about Call of Duty Black Ops?
Oh, Cold War?
Might as well be. Yeah. It might as well be Fortnite.
Fair enough, yeah. The popular schlock. When am I going to play Madden? Probably next week, honestly. But over the weekend, I actually had a full weekend. I took my Saturday off. I'm still, though, ravaged with overtime, and I was big sad to hear my boss come up to us today and be like, yeah, we're probably going to have a lot of overtime in May, too. And I'm just like, oh, lovely. I love spending all my time working day in and day out. That's fun.
But money, Corey. It's money.
Yep. It can sit in my bank account because that's all it's going to do. But weekend, I actually had time off to spend with people I love. And me and Megan and her brother actually went to support her dad, who opened this new like art store, not by himself, but it's like a joint like art store. I said joint. It's the 420 episode. But there's, but it's like a bunch of different artists, and the store is called Swirl Designs in West Reading, Reading, Pennsylvania, Berks County. You could look it up. But it's super cool. There was a lot of neat like artists in there that I really appreciated their work. There was like I'm definitely gonna buy one of these pieces of art at some point. But there's this artist who I believe is, I don't know the word for this, but he's missing his arms. And he might not be missing his arms. I think I got that wrong. I think he might be something might have happened to him where like he has no like movement with his arms or legs or something like that. Or maybe he's missing his arms. I'm already forgetting the whole story. But,
oh my gosh.
But how he makes his pieces of art is like he uses a pencil in his mouth and he'll essentially, or not pencil, but a brush, and he'll like tap dots into the palette with different paints and make his work of art out of all these little dots. And my God, you actually need to see, like, I wish I could show you guys some of the of his paintings. I don't even know the name of the artist, forgive me. But they were beautiful. Like, it was incredible to see these pieces of art. Just like all the little dots, and they were all different colors, and the shading was really well done. And even the line work, it was just, they were beautiful. And like, I didn't even know, you know, before looking at that that's how the technique happened. And it's just an amazing story to hear that. And I definitely want to get one or two of his pieces of art, or her. I forget. I'm not 100% sure. But there's a lot of other cool art pieces there, like a lot of nice like glass work, some of their paintings. It's a really nice shop. I highly recommend it. But to celebrate that, we went out for a nice little lunch, which is really good. I got the hot as hell burger, which was quite a hoot at the lunch table, I guess just because of the name. Contrary to popular belief, it wasn't that spicy. I could handle more, just saying. And the rest of the Saturday, I planned on having some of my buddies come over, but like honestly all our plans kind of fell through, so me and Megan just ended up hanging out like the night and just like relaxing. We watched a movie, which I'll talk about later, but it was a good time. Then on Sunday, nice. Me, Megan, and my sister went down to Cape May, New Jersey, because it was recently my sister's birthday. And we just wanted to, you know, take a weekend or take a day to go to the beach and just like relax. We love Cape May, New Jersey. I've been there so many times. Just great food, great atmosphere. It was a really lovely day this weekend. It was like, I'd say in like the mid 60s, maybe the low 60s when we were there. But it was a beautiful day. The sun was shining. We're walking around. We got a good, I'm trying to remember everything we got. At one point we were on, I forget the name of these things, but they're those like big touristy bikes that have like the 2 seats and like everyone can pedal and steer together. I always think,
yeah, they're so obnoxious. I can't stand those.
I 100% agree with you, and I still don't like them, but I will say I had a lot of fun being in the thing with my girlfriend and my sister. Like, it was a fun time, but yeah, I don't like those things. I agree with you. They just, ugh. What a touristy thing to do. I don't like it. But we had a good time, the trip up there. You know, we got to go on the beach for a little bit. It was actually, it was weird because the sand was like really cold. So we were like barefoot on the beach. And I was like, this is a weird experience. What else happened there? Not really much. We just kind of enjoyed our time, relaxed, just got some good food. I don't know. It was a good trip. That was pretty much my week. Do you got anything to add before we actually start the podcast proper here?
Yeah, no, we've been going for a while. I'll just say, no, yeah, my brother's birthday. Actually, April is a big birthday month for me. I got my birthday coming up. My mother's birthday's today. So lots of birthdays. That's pretty much it.
This is birthday month.
Birthday month. I don't know why I don't know why we said it like that.
Because it's 420. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Level With Me podcast, episode 91. My goodness. I am one of your hosts, Game Bro Corey, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mike, a.k.a. The Collector's Hall. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing pretty good, Corey. Just eating my brownie here. Oh man, I'm feeling a bit spacey right now, man.
By the time we get to the user questions, you're going to be really feeling that brownie.
Oh no! What did you put in this brownie, Corey?
Laxatives.
Oh no!
It's gonna be like that scene from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. No. The toilet doesn't flush. What?
Get the shovel, Mike.
Oh no.
But yes, happy 420, y'all. Enjoy your brownies, enjoy your weeds, if you can. Yeah, we got news stories here. Hope you'll enjoy it. We're gonna talk some video games, but before we get right into that, I have a very appropriate 420 story for us right here today. Pentagon confirms UAP footage filmed by the U.S. Navy. The Pentagon has confirmed shared photos and videos of UAPs, aka unidentified aerial phenomena, more commonly known as UFOs, to have been taken by the U.S. Navy for quote-unquote ongoing examinations. In an email to IGN, Department of Defense spokesperson Sue Gao, I hope I said that right, sent a statement which can be read below. Okay, maybe I should have read that in my head before I read it out loud. The brownies are kicking in. I can confirm that the referenced photos and videos were taken by the Navy personnel. The UAPTF has included these incidents in the ongoing examinations. As we have said before, to maintain operation security and to avoid disclosing information that may be useful to potential adversaries, DoD does not discuss publicly the details of either the observations or the examinations of reported incursions into our training ranges or designated airspace, including those incursions initially designated as UAPs. Why can't they just call them UFOs? Why they gotta make it unfun and say yops? Yo, what a yop.
Yop.
But yes, again, happy 420. Aliens exist. Hey, Mom,
Whoa.
There's something in the back room.
I'm just too spacey right now to be even thinking about aliens right now. You got it, man.
Aliens,
you feeling me?
Come join us on this momentous 420. They can try a weeds. Maybe they got some of that space weed.
Man, this would be the best day for them to come and visit. They're like, these humans are pretty cool. They like space weed just like us.
Yes. Wild, though. We are just... Every day we get closer to the dystopia movies that we all make fun of and also cry because they're slowly turning into our reality. As these aliens are just... They're pretty much like, yeah, they're here. In like a month from now, they're going to be like, yeah, here's Greg. And he's like, one of the gray head aliens. I probably shouldn't even say the phrase gray head. That's probably going to be some sort of like alien, like racist term in about 10 years from now. Yeah. So pardon me.
Whoa. Only we can say that word.
Don't cancel me yet. Ignorance is bliss. I just want to go in a UFO and I want a lightsaber or a ray gun. That's all.
I'll take a lightsaber. That'd be kind of cool. It'd be funny if like the aliens like we come in, Pete. I just go, ah, and I just cut in half. I'm like, this is so awesome. Yeah.
You think there'd be a lot of talking space raccoons?
I would be shocked if there weren't any.
Or talking trees.
Look, if the Marvel movies proved anything, is that these are what we can expect from extraterrestrials. Talking raccoons, talking trees, green people.
Wait a minute. Did we just say talking trees on episode that's for this momentous holiday, 420?
Like, yo, Groot, can I get some of that?
Guys, he said I am Groot.
But what's his name?
Speaking of Marvel, Marvel's Shang-Chi trailer, poster, and first images revealed. Marvel has dropped the first trailer for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings alongside a brand new poster and official images. The studio surprised Sim Liu, who stars as the titular hero in the upcoming MCU movie, with a quote-unquote birthday present in the form of a teaser trailer for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is due out in theaters on September 3rd, 2021. The trailer shows Liu in action as the master of Kung Fu, confronting the past he thought he had left behind before getting drawn into the Ten Rings organization. I just want to say we're getting into the Phase 2 era of the MCU where I don't know any of these weirdos, and I'm quite okay learning who they are because they introduced me to such cool weirdos as Doctor Strange and Black Panther, and even really all the Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. This trailer, I don't know if you watched it. I think it seems pretty fun. I think the character looks like very basic. Like I kind of mocked his outfit of just being a guy in like this weird like suit, I guess. Like not even a suit though. It's just like a shirt. Like it's just a very generic looking thing. I don't know a lot about Shang-Chi or any of the character, like the story of this hero and stuff around him, but it was a little bland in my opinion. But the trailer was pretty cool. I think it's a lot of fun because Disney is almost in terms like making this just a classic like kung fu style movie, which I feel like we don't see a lot of, which is neat. But then they're also incorporating all the like shenanigans and funsies of like, you know, just the Marvel universe, like with superpowers and stuff like that. Did you actually Did you actually watch the trailer?
No, I have not. It's not that I didn't want to. I just haven't watched it yet. And it's funny because like the Phase 2 of the Marvel universe, admittedly, has not really been catching my interest. And even though I am definitely like I'm all for learning about new characters I've never heard of before, because right now I haven't really been drawn in to watch any of these like new trailers. Like I remember like when Marvel, or I guess like when Disney does like, oh, here's the Marvel movies that are coming up over the next like 2 years, and I just think, okay, a lot of these superheroes are probably just like the B team that like no one really knows about,
right?
And nothing wrong about them. They just don't pull me in, and the same applies even to like DC characters. You know, it's just like, oh look, here's the allergist. I'm not too interested in that.
You know, that's actually a great point. I think that's going to happen a lot with this second wave of Marvel, especially with even the fact that I think Disney is going to be continuing their trend of being Disney, where they're going to just milk the ever-living crap out of Star Wars and Marvel, so we're probably just going to have tons of things shoved down our throat constantly. I could definitely see like a peak being hit with the MCU at some point where like a lot of interest is just lost. And who knows? It could literally be with this movie because like you said, like these are getting to be very obscure, weird characters that I think a lot of people aren't too interested in. Maybe we just need like whatever the next Avengers movie is going to be where they have all the characters together. Because, I mean, just from my personal experience, that's kind of what brought me into the MCU was the first Avengers movie. So it'll be interesting to see if that will happen again. But I don't know. It's hard to say. I definitely agree with your sentiment where, again, a lot of people just don't know these characters, so they kind of lack interest for a lot of them.
And look, kind of what you're saying, like if they are going to lead up to another Avengers movie, like with the new Avengers, they're going to have to work extra hard to get people pumped for this because it's not like the big name. It's not like all the superheroes that everyone cares about. These are all people that they're going to try to make you care about, and then make you care about them coming together to fight Thanos again. I don't know, or Galactus. I think is the other guy that who's the guy that did the fight? Yeah, Galactus, right?
It could be Galactus because I know Disney is going to reboot Fantastic Four for like the 18th time.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, I can't wait to see The Thing and Flame Man.
Yeah, and whoever played whoever played Captain America, Chris Evans play the Human Flame again.
Oh man. That would be weird. I could see them pull it off.
Oh boy.
I just want Doctor Doom in a movie. He's cool.
Yeah, that seems pretty cool. I'm made of metal.
Foot dive, foot dive, foot dive. Speaking of video games, hey, this is the #1 video game podcast in the world. Let's actually talk about some gosh dang video games.
Sounds like a plan to me.
We got a bunch of stories for you. Of course, we're saving all the Nintendo goodness for right at the end. Y'all should know that by now.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
But before we get to that, we have a few other stories that we should talk about. In a shocking move here, and this is actually really cool, Sony reverses course, will continue selling PS3 and Vita games after all. Sony has changed its decision and will now be keeping the PlayStation Store operational for PS3 and PS Vita devices. As detailed on the PlayStation blog, this is a reversal from its announcement in March 2021 that it would be closing down the PlayStation Store for PS3 and PSP on July 2nd, 2021, and the PSN Store for the Vita on August 22nd or 27th, 2021. In a letter to the community, Sony Interactive Entertainment President and CEO Jim Ryan said that it was, quote, clear that we made the wrong decision here, and that the stores for the PS3 and PS Vita will continue to live on. However, PSP commerce functionality will still end on July 2nd, 2021. Again, just a really cool move. I think it's definitely a good move on Sony. Like, a lot of good, like, PR with the community just reversing this, because a lot of people were quite upset, mainly due to the fact of just video game preservation on these older consoles. And I think there's even like a lot of games that you can get on the PS3 and the Vita that are just like what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like ROMs of like PS1 and PS2 and PSP stuff that you can't necessarily get on the PS4 store, because it's a big, long, complicated thing. But basically, like, the PS3's like whole online infrastructure was kind of like really made like quickly and kind of like shittily. So they had to kind of like almost just make a whole new thing with the PS4. And I feel like they branched off of the PS4's infrastructure with the PS5. So they kind of just brought everything from there moving forward. So again, people were just worried about losing all these older games. And I mean, even with the Vita, I mean, that's all like portable stuff. But thank goodness Sony, again, made a good move and was like, oh, nah, just kidding, relax.
Yeah, cool your jets, man.
It is a weird move, though, because at the same time, it's like, well, if you want to go buy a PS3 or PS Vita, that part gets a little tricky. You can't go to a Target and buy a brand new PS3 or PS Vita. Maybe the Vita will live on. Maybe they'll make a new Vita to compete with the Switch. Highly doubtful, but you never know.
I know. I mean, people could always use a new doorstop. So the Vita 2 would be good for that. I'm going to hell, I know.
I can't hop on that train. I've never actually touched a PS Vita, but from looking from a distance, I thought that console seemed really cool. I would like to own a Vita at some point in my life. It seemed like, from what everyone loved it. From what I heard, the screen on there was really nice. Yeah.
I heard it has its fans. You know, the people who like the Vita, they truly do love it, and that's fine. I just like making fun of it.
I will still forever remember the moment when the PS4 was coming out, and my one buddy was like, nah, I'm going to hold out for the PS4/PS Vita like combo bundle, because the PS Vita, you can like cross play, or you can like remote play from the PS4, which is kind of neat. It's almost like what the Wii U did. So you can like stream games on your Vita from a PS4, so you can essentially play like, you know, the new Final Fantasy VII or like the Last of Us remake or something like that. I don't know if every game supported. I actually don't know how it works that well, but it's a cool idea. But again, going back to the talk of my friend being like, I'm waiting for this bundle. It's like, yeah, I guess you're still waiting for that bundle in 2021.
Oh, burn.
Yes.
That's sad day.
Speaking of burns, Overwatch director Jeff Kaplan leaves Blizzard Entertainment. Jeff Kaplan, the director of Overwatch, has announced he is leaving Blizzard Entertainment after nearly 20 years with the company. In a personal message, Kaplan announced his departure from Blizzard Entertainment after 19 years. It says below here, "Greetings, Overwatch community. I'm leaving Blizzard Entertainment after 19 amazing years. It was truly It was truly the honor of a lifetime to have the opportunity to create worlds and heroes for such a passionate audience. I want to express my deep appreciation to everyone at Blizzard who supported our games, our game teams, and our players. But I want to say a special thanks to the wonderful game developers that shared in the journey of creation with me. Never accept the world as it appears to be. Always dare to see what it could be. I hope you do the same. GG, Jeff Kaplan. Development of Overwatch 2 will continue with Assistant Director Aaron Keller taking over as the new director of the sequel. Keller previously worked with Kaplan on World of Warcraft. Very sad day. I used to be a big fan of Overwatch back in the day. I mean, I still really like what's going on with Overwatch. I just don't really play it anymore. But Jeff Kaplan was always there as like this, even though he's the director, he was also almost like a community member or element to the game, because he would always post like whenever new updates would come out to the game, or when they were like thinking about making changes or implementing new characters or new maps into the game. He was just like a big component to Overwatch and its like community. And he even like became like this, again, like this meme or figurehead of Overwatch, like Daddy Kaplan or Daddy Jeff was like a thing. And he kind of, would also have fun with that kind of stuff. So when I saw he was leaving, it did actually like kind of make me a little emotional, because I was like, oh, I like Jeff Kaplan. And I don't know, guys, maybe that just sheds some light on Blizzard Entertainment being owned by Activision is not a great thing, huh?
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I remember, like, it kind of reminds me of, like, the Reggie Fils-Aimé, like, kind of, figurehead where, like, everybody just loves you, and like you're so into the role, and you are like just part of the community. And at Blizzard, I'm also reminded of, and I wish I knew more of the people who worked on the StarCraft team, because I do like StarCraft a lot. But like I'm a fan of Hearthstone, and I know Hearthstone had Ben Brode. He was their game director at Blizzard, and he was like he was awesome. He was just like he has such a great personality. Like you can tell he just loved the game so much, and he just loved to talk about it. Talk about, oh, here's the new expansion. Like everyone get pumped. Here's the release, and he would be at BlizzCon. Like he was just such a great figurehead at Blizzard. And then like I think in 2019 or 2020, 2019 I think is when he left, and he went to go work for a new company. And which is funny because I think they're still working on their game, but. Yeah, like him leaving was like a really big blow to the morale of Blizzard as a whole, like not just Hearthstone. So seeing someone like Jeff Kaplan leave is, I think, another big blow to their lineup. Like a big veteran guy who's been at the company and this guy's been for 20 years. So he's like a real all-star over at Blizzard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little unfamiliar with what Jeff Kaplan worked on prior to Overwatch. It said in the article there, World of Warcraft. I'm sure he worked on other projects. But yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. Blizzard has unfortunately fallen very, very far from what it used to be in the early 2000s, as well as like even the mid 2000s with things like StarCraft 2, Diablo 3, Hearthstone. It's kind of sad, It's kind of a shame what Activision has been doing with it. Activision, honestly, as much as I play Call of Duty and, questionably like those games, Activision's a really scummy company, and they really just kind of make games as almost like a franchise or like a product that they know people, they're almost, I forget, I think one of the heads of Activision has compared Call of Duty to almost just like a service or like a product that people buy every year, and like the quality like doesn't matter that much to them, because, and I mean he's kind of right, because you can see every year the new Call of Duty always outsells last year's, and it's always like, this is the best selling Call of Duty ever. But then it also makes you scratch your head, because there's all these articles about like how Blizzard's always like laying off a bunch of people, and it's like, well, if Call of Duty is making this much money, why do they also have to like let go of so many people? Like it almost seems like Activision is maybe taking advantage of a lot of these people. Huh.
Yeah. They're just like EA. I'm just not a fan of them.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's real shitty. But we're going to move on from that. We can't spend the whole podcast being sad. Back in my day,
I'm just gonna have some brownies and feel all better.
I'm just gonna go play Brood War and have fun.
Oh, good idea, Corey. Good idea.
Speaking of companies and video games, happy 420. Amazon cancels its Lord of the Rings MMORPG.
Oh no! Why?
Saying ain't so. Amazon has canceled its Lord of the Rings MMORPG that was first announced in 2019. As reported by Bloomberg, the game was in development at Amazon Game Studios alongside China-based Liao Technologies Holdings Ltd., which was purchased by Tencent Holdings Ltd. In December 2020. The contract negotiations between Amazon and Tencent were said to have caused a dispute that eventually led to the game's cancellation. An Amazon spokesperson confirmed that following Tencent's acquisition of Liu, it had, quote-unquote, been unable to secure terms to provide with this title at the time. The team will be shifted to other projects, and Amazon shared its disappointment in not being able to bring the project to world. The whole point of this article, I think I've talked about before in the podcast, that I really am not the biggest fan of Lord of the Rings, not because I don't hate it, it's just that I really don't know a lot about it. I honestly watched like parts of the trilogy. I've never actually seen it proper. I've seen all of The Hobbit, which is not a great way to look at Lord of the Rings. It's way better than those films. But the main point of this article is that Amazon Games, like, they can't put anything out, man. They cancel more games than they release at this point. Like, what is Amazon doing? Do they actually want to make games?
Well, no one liked the Stadia, so I guess we'll just stop making games.
That's Google. Amazon is making their own streaming thing. It's called Luna. I believe that's coming out or is out. Now you're good, man. One big evil corporation next to the other one.
Yeah. One big evil corporation at a time, Mike. Calm down.
But I mean, that was pretty much the whole like piss of this article. Is that just it's sad if anyone actually really did want to play this Lord of the Rings MMORPG. I'm sure that would have been cool, even though I feel like there aren't really that many big MMOs out there anymore, besides like maybe FF14. I think Black Desert is technically an MMO. WoW is still surprisingly really big. But yeah. Amazon, they want to make games, but I don't know. It seems like they very much don't want to make games.
Hey, Amazon, do you want to make games? Nah. Well, what do you want to do? Yeah, we'll just sell books, I guess, and everything else in the world.
Video games, they want to sell them, and I guess that's all they really want to do. You know, you can buy Nintendo games from Amazon. You can buy Xbox games from Amazon. I don't really have a...
You can buy Amazon games? You can buy Amazon games from Amazon? If they made any?
Here's this new game. Actually, it's in beta. Actually, it's canceled. Let's move on here. This is actually...
I'm sad.
This is actually an interesting discussion point that I think you and me can have. I don't know if this is going to last like a few minutes. Maybe it'll only last 30 seconds. Who knows? Days Gone director says, if you love a game, buy it at full price. Days Gone creative director and writer John Carvin said that if you love a game and want a sequel, you should, quote, buy it at fucking full price. That's his words. As reported by VGC, Gavin was a guest on God of War creators David Jaffe's YouTube show and discussed many topics regarding Days Gone and his time in the video game industry. His appearance also arrives a bit over a week after Bloomberg's report of a unsuccessful Days Gone 2 pitch from Bend Studio. Garvin, who is no longer with Sony Bend, was asked if he had heard if Days Gone being added to PlayStation Plus collection on PS5 caused a quote-unquote meaningful uptick of engagement with the game. This is, I believe, Garvin's reply. Sorry, I think I was saying Gavin before, but it's Garvin. I do have an opinion on something that your audience may find of interest, and it might piss some of them off. If you love a game, buy it at fucking full price. I can't tell you how many times I've seen gamers say, yeah, I got that on sale. I got through PS Plus, whatever. Jaffe responded by asking Garvin how you are supposed to know if you love a game until you've played it. And this is Garvin again. I'm just saying, you don't. But don't complain if a game doesn't get a sequel if it wasn't supported at launch. It's like God of War got whatever number millions of sales at launch, and, Days Gone didn't. I'm just speaking for me personally as a developer. I don't work for Sony. I don't know what the numbers are. Garvin continued to explain his reasoning by explaining a piracy situation that occurred during his time working on PSP's Siphon Filter Dark Mirror. I actually don't think I'm going to go into that. It's about torrents. Who cares? My main argument here that we could discuss for a little bit is how do you feel about Garvin's point here, where if you like a game, you should buy it at fucking full price, as his words say. Because I kind of agree with where Jaffe was coming from. Like, how do you even know you're going to love a game? Not to mention, not everyone is financially stable enough that they can afford to buy new games right when they come out. Especially looking at the market now, where games are $70 new on the PS5 and the Xbox.
I think you can't take it too literally, or at least the way I look at it is, if you really do love a game and you want to support it, you should buy it on launch day. I think is how I think that's the more important thing. Not at full price, but on launch day. Because ultimately, this is just me being very analytical, is that gaming is an industry and a business. So if the shareholders don't want to hear about, we have a really big fan base. Oh, really? Did the game sell? Well, we didn't hit our numbers we didn't hit the numbers that we wanted, and then that game might not get a sequel. I actually feel like this is a good example for Metroid, because it has its followers, but the problem is that the games just don't sell. And a lot of times you'll see people say, well, I'll just pick it up later. It's like, yeah, but if you like Metroid that much, and this is kind of hitting home for me. I told people, if you really like Metroid, when Samus Returns was coming out, people were like, well, I don't know. I mean, the game looks great, but I don't know if I want to buy it. And it was like, well, do you not like Metroid? Because if you don't like it, then fine, don't buy it. But if you like Metroid, buy it. I'm not saying go and go buy 5 copies just to, inflate the sales numbers. What I'm saying is, it's just be truthful. If you like the game, if you want to support this developer and their game series, you buy it at launch. You don't buy, and I hate saying it too, and you don't. It's because that's what I'm saying about full price, because you don't want to go buy it from GameStop after they, maybe how's it put? Someone bought it at full price and then they sell it back to GameStop, and then GameStop sells it for $5 cheaper. You might think, yeah, well, I still paid almost full price. Yeah, but none of that money went to the developer. That went to games. For example, that went to GameStop, the secondary market. To buy the game at launch is, I think, how I would interpret his wordings. To be if you really want to support a developer and tell them, yes, we like this product, we want more of this, buy it at launch. And now let's say the game actually is bad. Well, it'll show. Even though even though you did buy it at launch, those numbers might be impressive, but then they'll droop off very quickly when people realize, oh, this game actually is pretty bad. Like many of the big games that turned out to be terrible throughout the years, like all the big name ones, people bought a whole bunch of them and then they realized, oh, this actually is pretty bad, and then the sales numbers plummet pretty quickly. So that's how I look at it. If you support it, buy it at launch. If the game is bad, don't worry. That feedback will come around, and the developers will know that the game actually is bad, and if you don't like it. That's my analytical side of it,
Just to add one little asterisk to your point is, I don't even think in a lot of terms it's the developer, it's the publisher. Because the publisher is Square Enix, or it's Nintendo. Sometimes they can be the same developer, but in this instance here with Days Gone and John Garvin, that was Sony Bend, was a different subgroup of just Sony Entertainment or Sony Studios or whatever it's called. So of course their studio, like he said, they tried to pitch Days Gone too, because they did want to keep making more Days Gone, but then it's the publisher who goes, well, actually your numbers weren't that great with Days Gone, so maybe we'd prefer you make something new, or either just help us out with another game.
I gotcha. Yep. Thank you for that correction.
Yeah, and I would assume that's how most game development cycles are as well. Like I'm sure there's a lot of companies who are like, oh, we always wanted to make a sequel to this game, but it's just like, oh, well, the numbers weren't that great, so unfortunately we never got to. But to pretty much say my point, I mean, I kind of just said it. Like, I definitely agree with where you're coming from. If you do want to support a game and try to get a sequel, you definitely should buy the game at launch at full price. Try to avoid those secondary markets like GameStop or like a eBay or Facebook Marketplace, because like you said, at the end of the day, that money isn't really going into the publisher or developer. That's mostly just going into the place selling it. It's different when you buy it from like a Target or an Amazon, because that's like the company is sending the actual distributor the game. That's kind of how that works there. But I do
exactly.
I do just think it's a very hard thing to balance with a lot of people, because again, like, games are getting more expensive. Of course, the economy is all like in the toilet right now from the pandemic, so people might not have a lot of money to spend on brand new games. I mean, it's already hard enough to find like these brand new consoles. It's hard, like, to kind of get this answer like in a to find the proper answer. It might not even have a real proper answer, maybe everyone has their own opinion on it. I don't think this dude should be as bitter about the situation he's in. I understand where he's coming from, but it's a sticky situation. I don't know what else to add to this.
Indeed.
Sticky situation. Happy 420. The sticky icky. Man, I got these weed references on point. Speaking of weed references, Ubisoft Forward E3 2021 conference announced. Guess what, guys?
Oh, perfect transition.
Ubisoft is joining everyone at E3. A digital conference will take place on Saturday, June 12th, starting at 12 p.m. Pacific time. Currently, no other details have been provided. Naturally, all the biggest surprises will be held back until the show itself. Just a real quick little update. Hey, look, Ubisoft joins the E3 roster. Still no Sony. And maybe a little bit of talk of Square actually getting in there. Huh? Ooh, what? Perfect segue, though. We do have a story here about Square Enix. Square Enix says it's not for sale after acquisition rumors. So, Square Enix has said that it will not consider selling the company and has not received any offers after a report claimed, quote, multiple potential buyers were interested in an acquisition. CTFN reported that two bankers had indicated that several potential buyers were interested in purchasing the developer/publisher behind Final Fantasy and Outriders. Bloomberg Japan then reported the news, which led Square Enix to respond. This is from Square Enix themselves. Bloomberg has reported today that there is interest from several buyers to acquire Square Enix. However, this report is not based on any announcement by Square Enix Holdings Co., Ltd. We do not consider selling off the company or any part of its business, nor have we received any offer from any third party to acquire the company or any part of its businesses. I would naturally think that if Square Enix would be bought, it'd probably be bought by Sony. You see almost like all their games almost be like Sony exclusive anyways, or like a timed exclusive. I'm pretty sure Final Fantasy 16 is going to be a timed exclusive on the PS5. And you even see deals with like FF7 remake, I think that was also an exclusive for a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I even was reminded of the story we talked about a few months ago where Microsoft tried to go in these different studios and buy companies. This was a while ago, not recently. But I remember they went to Square Enix, and Square pretty much was like, whatever number you're thinking, it's not high enough. This was probably around
get out of here
when the Xbox just started, like the original Xbox. But that's
I can imagine like them walking in. All right, look, guys, we're here to buy you, so just pack your bags, and and I'm sure Square's like, who are you guys? Like, get out of here.
Oh, you guys make Windows XP? That's cool.
That's cool. We make Final Fantasy, jerks.
Also, just shout outs to this article. I think it's funny that it said like the publishers behind or developer/publisher behind Final Fantasy and Outriders, Yeah, those two games are quite comparable, right? The beloved series Final Fantasy that has been throughout decades of gaming, and Outriders, the game that just came out like 2 weeks ago. That's a looter shooter, pretty much. I just thought that was funny. They could have put so many games there. Dragon Quest, Kingdom Hearts. I'm sure there's many more that I'm missing. I just... Outriders, huh? Okay. Happy 420. Speaking of beloved retro franchises, there was a new Resident Evil showcase that happened over the past week, and they announced a couple new things. Capcom's latest Resident Evil showcase not only gave us a new look at the upcoming Resident Evil Village and shared that a new demo is on its way, but it also officially revealed that the Resident Evil 4 VR will be soon making its way to Oculus Quest 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's a thing. Resident Evil 4 VR is happening. I think that's really interesting. It's in first person. That seems pretty cool. I know Resident Evil 4 is, I believe, what everyone would consider probably the best Resident Evil game. I think that's really neat, considering I know a lot of people played the Resident Evil 7 in VR because they offered that. And I think it's kind of interesting going back to these older Resident Evils and making them in VR because they obviously can work. It's a very slow-paced game. It'd be neat to see them do even like the original Resident Evil or like Resident Evil 2 or 3 now that they have those like high-end assets. I think that could be a lot of fun. That's cool. There was a big chunk.
Yeah, I think
Go on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying I think it works better for 7 because 7 is like has the first person look going for it, and maybe the only other thing I can think of is because since Resident Evil 4 has like those pointer controls, it might work with VR if they turn it into like a first person, like as opposed to the over the shoulder controls. I don't know. It's interesting.
I could just see it working with the other games because honestly, Resident Evil 7, even though it is on the outside looking in just like a first-person shooter, it does kind of play like those old-school Resident Evil games because you do only get a limited amount of ammo.
Oh, yeah.
You do really have to manage your inventory there. So I feel like you could... A lot of people did compare it to the first Resident Evil game.
Yeah. I would definitely say it does it better than, like... Because, like, by the time you got to, like, Resident Evil 4, that was when it was, like... It's all about the shooting.
It's
like, here,
more of an action game.
Yeah. Like, here, there's plenty of ammo. Here, just upgrade your guns and just start killing zombies. And that was great. But, yeah, definitely... 7 goes back to more like, no, like you have 5 bullets, use them wisely. It'll be a while before you find more bullets, and I think that definitely adds to the true like horror nature of the game as opposed to the action.
Classifies it as a survival horror rather than just a horror.
Indeed.
And like the article was saying, there was one demo for Resident Evil Village that came out already. That was the Village demo, but there's also going to be a Castle demo coming out later this week. So that's pretty cool. I have been staying a little bit clear of the demos because I like to stay as clean from like these newer games as possible because eventually I'll get around to them. I don't want to get like spoiled or my experience ruined at all. I'm sure it's all great. It's pretty much copying that same style of Resident Evil 7. It's the same character, Ethan. It looks great. Lady Demetrix. I can't read right now. Demetricu, I believe is how you say it. It's the tall lady. It's the tall vampire lady. You've all seen her on Twitter. You've seen the fan art. You know who I'm talking about. You've seen the cutout at GameStop. You probably did horrible things to her in the back room. You horrible people.
Ew.
This is actually a cool one. They're actually bringing back the Mercenaries bonus mode. Resident Evil Mercenaries, the popular time trial mode that hasn't been around since until Resident Evil 3, returns in Resident Evil Village. The mode was last seen in Resident Evil 6, and the idea is to let players compete in high-score challenges by racking up kills and collecting time extension bonuses. It will include new features like power upgrades and weapon shops between rounds. So, basically, in a way, Mercenaries is more of just like an arcadey experience where you can kind of just enjoy, I guess, the gameplay of Resident Evil compared to like actually more of the survival horror elements in like the single player game. I mean, this is all single player from what I understand. I'm sure they can do co-op because they have done like there's that game on the 3DS. I think it was just called Resident Evil Mercenaries, which was kind of like this, but obviously not in the first-person style of Resident Evil Village. But the Mercenaries modes, they're a lot of fun. I'm glad to see them return. They also talked a little bit more about that Resident Evil movie that's coming to Netflix, which is like a 3D animated one. And then this was a neat little crossover. Resident Evil and Dead by Daylight is going to have some sort of collaboration that's going to be revealed on May 25th. I think that's really rad. Dead by Daylight has just been like slowly growing as this cool like survival horror multiplayer thing. I think it's really neat that they're collabing and having some cool action from there. I'm curious who the like monster they're going to pick for like the main enemy is going to be. Maybe it'll be a Nemesis or a Tyrant or something like that.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
That's it for all the Resident Evil news. Moving on. Celeste devs tease next game with, quote, vibe reveal. Extremely OK Games, the developers of Celeste, have teased its next game and its pixeled art 2D exploration game called Earthblade. Extremely OK Games' Maddie Thorson revealed a blog post today all about Earthblade, and the team is referring to the announcement as a vibe reveal. The reason the team went with the vibe reveal is because it didn't want to reveal much about the game or its story yet, but it thinks this reveal will establish the world and feeling of being in it. First of all, I want to just say that I absolutely adore the logo graphic for Earthblade. It's kind of reminding me a little bit of Earthbound mixed with like a Final Fantasy or like a Chrono Trigger. There's like this beautiful like sword and like this flower like kind of growing out of it. And there's these nice like colors that kind of like just like ombre into each other. Very like 90s or like SNES style logo. I love it. I'm very excited to learn more about this game. Celeste, incredible platformer. And Extremely OK Games also made a really good game called Towerfall, which was like a fun like multiplayer game. Very excited to see what happens with this. This looks really neat. Even though, again, it's just how they put it, the vibe check or the vibe reveal, where it's just kind of showing the atmosphere. But I think it's really rad that they're making its explore action game. So I'm thinking it might be more like a Metroidvania or even like a Zelda-like game. So that could be,
cool.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. But with that being said, I mean, it's probably just gonna lead into these other stories, because I could bet cash money that might be a launch exclusivity on the Switch, because Switch does really well with those indie platformer / indie action games. But it is that time. We are now at the end of our news stories, which are all Nintendo themed. And here at Level With Me Podcast, we always leave all the Nintendo news stories for at the very, very end, like the dessert, because we love Nintendo so much. First of all, we had a new Indie World showcase over this week. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't really know a lot that came out of this showcase. I kind of just looked at a few of the games. I actually didn't really get to watch any trailers because I had a little bit of a busy week. But I'm kind of going to go through here and see if there's any notable ones. Oxenfree 2, Lost Signals. I know the original Oxenfree was a good indie game. Night School Studios' sequel to its indie hit Oxenfree, Lost Signals, is set 5 years after the events of the original game. Riley returns to her hometown of Kamena to investigate a mysterious radio frequency seemingly causing disturbances. Lost Signals is out on Nintendo Switch later this year. Let's see here. I want to see if there's any like games that really stick out to me. The problem with a lot of these indie games is that they all are kind of like almost their whole unique experiences. So I almost need to watch like every trailer to be like, oh, this one looked really cool, or oh, this is interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of indie games, you hate to say it, but indie games do definitely follow a trend. It's like, okay, they're either like a very artsy game, or they're either like a old school platformer style game, or they're either a like roguelike action game, or even a Metroidvania. I wish I could tell you if any of these are Metroidvanias, because I'd probably be interested in those. I will say one just scrolling through all these videos, there was a brief additional trailer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, which is that new beautiful pixel art TMNT beat 'em up game. And I actually did watch this trailer because it's very short. It just showcases like all the turtles and like a couple of their combos and moves they have. That game still looks really great. Let's see here. I believe that's really all of note. Oh, this actually looked really cool. So I hope I pronounced this right. Getsu Fumu Den Undying Moon. This is a new game by Konami, guys. Konami.
Wait, Konami makes video games?
I guess they do now. They quit making pachinko machines and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and they're like, maybe we should make some of these video games. They seem pretty popular. But yes.
Maybe we should go be nice to that Kojima guy.
That guy who made Death Stranding, his only video game he ever made. His legacy video game.
Yeah.
Getsu Fumaden Undying Moon is a hack-and-slash roguelite from Konami. Fight through huge bosses across a dark fantasy Japan when Getsu Fumaden is released next year in 2022. I think this game actually looked super rad. Yeah, it has really cool artwork, very like feudal mythical Japan, like the kind of like painting art style. If you ever seen like old samurai or old like yokai and stuff like that, it's reminiscent of that. And the gameplay actually looks really cool. It's like a 2D hack and slasher, but it looks like with adding the roguelite elements, there's a lot of different weapons and power-ups you can get. I actually think this looks super, super cool. This is probably like my highlight of this indie reveal, probably because it was like it was one of the only games I actually watched the trailer for. And it was funny enough that Konami is making a new game after all these years. Hey, if you're a listener of Level With Me podcast and there's a game that you really liked, the latest Indie World Showcase, let us know. Maybe we'll look up the trailer.
Yeah, please do that, guys. We love to hear from you. We're not all just we don't only joke here. We do love to hear from you guys, and you know.
Absolutely, and there's always so many games coming out every day. You know, it's hard to keep track of everything. Or just me playing Fortnite every day. It's hard to keep track of the other video games, the real video games.
The real ones.
Speaking of real video games, Mario Kart 8 is now the best-selling racing game in U.S. history. Mario Kart 8, which includes the Wii U original and Nintendo Switch's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, has become the best-selling racing game in U.S. history, as reported by the NPD's Group's Matt Piscatella. Mario Kart 8 has finally surpassed Mario Kart Wii, which was released in 2008. While we don't know the exact sale numbers in the US, Mario Kart 8 was originally released on the Wii U in 2014 and has sold 8.45 million units globally as of September 30th, 2020. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was released on Switch in 2017 and has, as of December 31st, 2020, sold 33.41 million units globally. That is insane.
That's a lot of money for Nintendo.
Part of me is very happy to see Mario Kart thriving. I love the kart racing genre.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of like racing games. Part of me also reads this article and sheds tears because Nintendo has no point to make a new Mario Kart, which is how well this one's selling. There's no point.
Or at least not for the foreseeable future. I think there could be a new Mario Kart game on the next console.
Yeah, it exists, Mike. It's called Mario Kart World Circuit or whatever. The next console's your phone. Go play the Mario Kart phone game.
I don't wanna.
They put Pauline in there. That's a new character, right?
Oh, okay. Now I'll play it now.
I love Pauline. Put Pauline in all the Mario games. Make a new
Pauline for Smash.
Okay. Real talk, how have they done nothing with Super Mario Party? How have they never add any DLC to that game? Like, they could just keep making it. They could have made, like, a Fighter Pass style thing to Super Mario Party and just been like, oh, like, every few months we're going to add a new board and we're going to add, like, 1 or 2 new characters. I would have paid, like, $20 or $30 for that. Like, I don't know why they're sleeping so much on Super Mario Party. I think it's just because it probably didn't sell as well as they thought.
Well, from what I understand, the game is actually really, really good, and it did sell okay. I think it's just, it did, because you're right. It didn't sell as well as they were hoping, I guess, but like it would sell more, I think, if they just keep supporting it. And more importantly, they definitely, and I think this is a big thing that we've said many times, their online servicing really hurt that game because that would have been the perfect game to have like online play with.
That's a great point.
They really shot themselves in the foot with that.
Good point. Good point. Speaking of Nintendo shooting themselves in the foot, and, you know, speaking of Nintendo racing games, ex-Nintendo designer says F-Zero isn't dead. It's just, quote, hard to bring back. Takuya Imamura, the now-retired Nintendo artist and designer who helped create The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask and characters like Captain Falcon and Fox McCloud, has said that while F-Zero isn't dead, it is a series that is, quote, hard to bring back without a, quote, grand idea.
I have a great idea. Just bring it back. Oh, Lord. I'm sorry.
No, what else is there to say? We don't really have to get more into the article. I much like your frustration and mine and the rest of the internet's, why do they think they need this, quote, grand idea to reboot F-Zero? Are you kidding me? Like, what is Mario Kart? Like, what is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Like, Nintendo, I mean, for the longest time, the joke is that they almost, like, make the same game every time and, like, add, like, maybe one or two, like, little upgrades to it. How do they think that wouldn't work with a new F-Zero? They could literally just make the GameCube F-Zero game and just, like, HD remaster it, and it'd probably sell really well. Like, what are they doing? What is this grand idea concept that they think they actually need?
I can't answer it. I don't know. It just makes me sad.
Well, the article says here, while many Nintendo franchises have lived on in new entries, F-Zero has been quiet for nearly 2 decades, although it wasn't for lacking of trying. F-Zero GX came out 18 years old. Came out on the GameCube. Hell of a game, too. I'm actually a little bit of a noob with F-Zero. I played a little bit of that GameCube one. And then I think I've tried the original F-Zero on one of the, like, virtual consoles or something like that. But I do really love the games. They're a lot of fun.
They're fast. They're fun.
I
furious.
really don't even think they need much of a new idea. Since it's been almost 2 decades, they literally just should reboot F-Zero. Just call a new game F-Zero, make the graphics look super pretty on the Switch, and just pretty much have that high-speed action racing game. I think it will do well. They could even, again, I don't know, make it... Okay, you know, Nintendo, I hope you're listening right now. This is my pitch for what I think a new F-Zero could be. And it's quite simple. All you really have to do is, and maybe they already did this because I didn't play a lot of F-Zero, but just have every character almost be like an Overwatch character where they all have basically like their own abilities and their own like superpower. So basically like every character has like power-ups, or maybe they have some sort of like meter, and like you can use like different, like every character has their own type of thing. Like, oh, maybe Captain Falcon has like a boost or something with like fire, or the Flaming Falcon, you know, and then every car also has like some sort of ultimate ability or something like that. Make it like not as random as like a Mario Kart with the item blocks, but make it like, you know, cooldowns or some sort of power. I've thought about this before, and I'm sure there's a lot of other Nintendo fans, much like me, who are like, I got several ideas for the new F-Zero game. Nintendo, if you want to call me, just let me know. I got some ideas. Happy 420.
Just leave me a blank check, and I'll tell you everything you need to know.
I don't speak Japanese. That's probably my main problem. Speaking of 420 and the color green, Lego Luigi officially announced after leak. Lego has now officially announced a new Luigi figure to join its Lego Super Mario set. The Luigi starter course is scheduled to arrive on August 1st and will come in at $59.99 USD. The set includes 280 pieces and can be combined with all previous Lego Super Mario sets. The set description says, quote, players earn digital coins for helping Lego Luigi complete spinning seesaw and flying challenges, interactions with Pink Yoshi, and defeating Boom Boom and a Bone Goomba. A Bone Goomba and Boom Boom. Wow, this really is the 420 episode. The nougat? The nougat brown colored bricks in this tower biome also trigger different reactions from Lego Luigi, and the question blocks offers extra rewards. This whole sentence is very... I think those brownies are starting to kick in at this point. There's Lego Luigi to join the Super Lego Mario family. When are we going to get Lego Wario farting all over the place? Probably sometime next year.
It can't come soon enough.
Last but not least, Nintendo of America and its president, Doug Bowser, are suing hacker Gary Bowser. It's a classic Bowser versus Bowser matchup. Luckily, I've studied enough of these in Smash Ultimate. Probably a lot of grabs and fire breaths.
Bowser versus Bowser. Bowser versus Dark Bowser. Bowser versus Giga Bowser. Doug Bowser is definitely Giga Bowser.
Nintendo of America and its president, Doug Bowser, have filed a lawsuit against alleged team executor.
Executor with the Pokemon.
That's X, the letter EQTER. Leader Gary Bowser for infringing on Nintendo's copyright by creating and selling Nintendo Switch hacking devices. We're not kidding. No, IGN, we're not. As reported by Polygon, this lawsuit was filed in Seattle court and aims to charge Bowser with 2 trafficking courts and 1 copyright violation. According to Nintendo, Bowser runs an quote international pirate ring that sells these Switch hacking devices that are designed to circumvent Nintendo's security measures to run pirated Switch games. Well, why the heck would President Doug Bowser sell these devices to hack into the Switch? That doesn't make any sense.
I agree. How confusing.
This poor Gary Bowser is just trying to do the right thing, right?
Right. Bowser never did anything wrong. Either one of the Bowsers.
Bab. All Bowsers are bad.
Yeah. Not the Doug Bowser. Maybe the Bowser. You know, the Koopa Bowser.
Doug Bowser gets a pass because that's just Doug. We don't talk about his last name.
Hey, sorry, wrong Doug.
Yeah, get over here, funny.
Patty Mayo. Oh yeah.
He makes me have butterflies.
Yeah, that's what they're called.
That's so great. This is a kid show, Corey. Come on, stop it.
Happy 420. That's going to do it for all the video game news of the week. We're now going to move into our weeks. What we've been watching, playing. Would you like me to go first, Mike, or do you want to go first? What are we doing here?
You can go first, Corey.
Alrighty. Take a sip of my water, and I will begin. Luckily, I put many, many weeds in my water. It's green. You know, like I was saying, there's no other holiday where there's green-colored things. Duh. But this week, I watched... Funny enough, I watched some very appropriate 420 movies. Unironically, this is just I don't know how I stumbled into these movies. Again, there's no bit behind this, but it kind of seems that way. So, also I just want to shout out that I've been like binging through all of Cinemassacre's content, the AVGN stuff, and
oh my gosh, that's old school.
I have caught up. I think I talked about this last podcast, but I stopped like a few years ago, and I just went back. So now I've watched like all the AVGN, and maybe I will actually go back and start from the beginning because a few years ago, I stopped doing this like when I stopped watching AVGN altogether. But there'll just be times where I'm like, I just want to binge all of AVGN. Like, I just enjoy all his silly, like, skit videos and stuff like that. Even though I've never personally played a lot of the games he brings up and talks about, I still find them very entertaining and something, like, calming about rewatching them all. It was, like, a simpler time of YouTube, especially when you go back to the really old ones from, like, 2005 and 2007.
Oh, yeah. That was back when YouTube was in its, like, infancy. Like he was one of the he was like one of the like the original YouTubers, like big YouTubers.
Oh yeah. And shout out to James Rolfe. He's a fellow Phillian. I believe he's from Philly. He's at least from PA.
I know he's been at the Too Many Games over the last like 10 years. I had no idea he was from Philly though. That's pretty cool.
He maybe, I don't know. I know he lives in PA though. I don't know where. I mean, James, if you want to hit us up, you could definitely be a special guest on Level with me, or whatever.
We're all angry nerds here.
Whatever you want to collab, just let us know. I got a real mean spot for that. I don't know. Give me a retro game that's everyone hates. Simon's Quest. There we go.
Yeah, that's also a good one.
But anyways, the movies that I actually watched this week. I watched Eric Andre's Bad Trip. Have you heard about this, Mike?
No, I haven't. I've heard of Eric Andre, but not this.
Okay, so Eric Andre has been working on this movie. I want to say maybe he started it in 2019, but he wanted it to come out last year, like in theaters. But unfortunately, with the pandemic, everything got thrown in the toilet. So the movie essentially got pushed back a year and just came out on streaming devices. Like, I think you can go watch it on Netflix. That's where I watched it. But basically, this movie it's kind of comparable to Borat or like a Jackass, where it's basically just a bunch of like prank like sketches with Eric Andre in his like character in the movie, and his like buddy, which isn't Hannibal Buress, or however you say his name. He's like, I don't know, he's just being a landlord or something. But there was another dude there. I forget the name of the actor, but he's the friend from Get Out. If any of y'all have watched Get Out. But basically, there's like this loose story where like Eric Andre's character is like working at this like auto garage, and like this girl from his high school comes by, and he's like, oh, I always wanted to like ask her out when I was in high school, but I never got a chance to. And when she was at this auto garage, this is a spoiler, but it's literally the first bit. Eric Andre is like vacuuming out this random dude's car, and like he accidentally like sucks his whole like outfit off, like that, whatever you call that mechanic outfit that's almost like a onesie. So Eric Andre is just like completely naked, and he's like hiding in this guy's backseat, and he's like, oh, you gotta, there's no clothes, I don't want her to see me naked, you gotta like get her out of here, or like figure out what we're gonna do. And she basically like goes off, and like I think she like leaves her card with the guy, and basically she's like hosting this like art exhibit in like New York, or like Eric Andre like meets up with her somewhere else, I forget. But the like plot of the movie is like Eric Andre and his friend are like planning a road trip from like Florida all the way to New York so he can like visit her and potentially ask her out. And the whole like portion of the movie is basically Eric Andre and his like sidekick buddy just performing all these like sketch pranks for people, and it's actually pretty funny. I enjoyed the whole movie. There's a lot of good bits in there, a lot of good like reactions with people. I want to say it was definitely shot in 2019 because this is all pre like COVID, so everyone's just walking around without masks. It's always weird seeing that stuff now. But it's really funny. I enjoyed the movie overall. I thought the like plot of the movie definitely wasn't the best, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's not really what you're coming to a movie like this for. I just want to see like the actual like funny pranks as well as like the reactions of the people. Like I'm not coming to an Eric Andre movie for like the story, So that was actually a lot of fun. I like that. Bad Trip. And then the other movie I ended up watching last night, I watched the classic movie, Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh, how appropriate for 420.
Happy 420. I've never seen this movie before.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Yeah, and I don't know if they recently put this on Hulu, but it is on Hulu. Me and Megan were just scrolling through there, and Megan's like, as I was getting a snack in the kitchen, she's like, oh, I found a movie we can watch. And I'm like, oh, what's that? And she's like, oh, I loved watching this movie back in the day. And I'm like, oh, I never saw this one. I'm like, all right, well, why not? Let's just watch it. It'll be fun. And turns out, yeah, guys, Dude, Where's My Car? Still holds up. A lot of fun. Laugh out loud moments galore. I had a great time watching it. Didn't know what to expect. I'm going to be honest with you guys. for a movie that came out in like the year 2000, there's actually not that many jokes that you could say are quote unquote like these people will be canceled for or whatever. There's like one bit with like a transgender or two different transgender characters, but I didn't think it was that bad in my opinion. But this movie's hilarious. For those of you who don't know the plot, it's basically Ashton Kutcher and his buddy are these like two stoner guys, and basically they just forget their memory and they forget what happened to their car, and they need to go on this journey to find their car to get these gifts for their twin girlfriends. And there's just all sort of like fun shenanigans going on there. The movie really like gets super weird and crazy in the last like 15. Like I was like, I don't even know. Like it was this movie is like 21 years old. It can legally drink and smoke in states where it's legalized, but like it just gets batshit crazy. Like it gets completely ungrounded out of reality. There's like all this like interspatial like travel stuff. At one point, there's this like woman who's pretty much like a mini kaiju, like running around chasing after.
It's a movie you can't take very seriously.
I didn't know, and I absolutely love that they do that. It was so much fun. I had a great time watching this. I love their characters. They're so stupid in the best way possible. They're believable. Also, I gotta shout out my favorite scene of the movie where they go meet like one of their like buddies. I think I forget the name of the character, but he has like this dog, and like Ashton Kutcher and his buddy are like poking the dog like, I think your dog's dead, dude. And they're like, no, he's not dead yet. I think his name is like Spike or Zeke or something like that. And the friend like is like, come here, Spike, and he like whistles for him, and then he pulls out this little like dog like pipe for smoking weed, and he literally gives the pipe to the dog. The dog puts it in his mouth. He lights him up, and the dog rips this fat cloud. And I'm just like, what is going on right now? There's this dog ripping or smoking weed in Dude, Where's My Car? And they're like loving it. Like the Ashton Kutcher and his buddy. I'm just like, what is this movie? I was just losing my mind. I was cracking up. It's so ridiculous. The dog is also this like horrible like live action puppet thing. It's great. Everyone go watch Dude, Where's My Car? Happy 420. Great movie.
My favorite is when they were the drive-through.
And then,
so cringy.
And then, there were so many gags like that where I was like, Megan's like, "Oh, Corey, you had to have seen this one." And I'm like, "No, I actually never did." Another good gag, which is, some people may say it's cringy, but it's like when they go to the dry cleaners and they get the tattoos on their back.
Oh yeah,
the one says,
"Sweet,
dude."
Yeah, what's mine say? Sweet, what's mine say? Yeah. That part's classic. I'm sorry.
No, it is classic. That was actually one of the clips that I did see before, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I like that. That's funny. It's fun." Just, if you watch Dude, Where's My Car? The title you should expect where this movie, it's not taking itself seriously at all. Everyone's just having a good time. Happy 420.
Happy 420.
But then to round out this video game podcast, I did play some video games that weren't just Fortnite. I actually had some free time to myself. I think it was Saturday evening. Like I said, my friends kind of bailed on us. So I was like, okay, well, Megan was working on some of her schoolwork. I have some free time. I didn't necessarily want to stream or go upstairs and kind of like isolate myself from her. So I popped on the Switch, threw it on the TV, and I played some of that Monster Hunter Rise. Hey, guess what, guys? Monster Hunter Rise, still a fantastic game, even though I barely get to play it anymore. I started doing some of the Tier 3 quests, which actually opened up the game quite a bit. There's like a few missions with the different star ranks, but it actually introduced two different map biomes. There was like a snowy... Actually, no, the snowy one was already in rotation. It was like, there's like a swampy themed map, and then there was like a deserty style map. And the desert one I actually really liked because it brought back a lot of the monsters that I really enjoy fighting. Specifically, my dude Bareth, which is pretty much a big rock Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I just love his design. He's really cool. Fighting him is kind of annoying because his armor is really thick, and a lot of his moves pretty much have armor on them. But all that's been going really well. I still really love that game, even though I don't get to play it as much. It's so much fun. The controls, everything feels great to do. I love running around or riding around on my dogger, hunting the monsters, collecting whatever. There's like a billion things to collect in there, whether it be hummingbirds that give you more health or god bugs. That's literally an item you can pick up. It's just called a god bug, or the mite seed. You know, everyone's got to have a mite seed. Monster Hunter Rise is great. It's still fantastic. I highly recommend it. I feel like a lot of people, I mean, it's selling crazy, and I'm sure people know, but it's a great game. I definitely want to keep playing it as much as I can whenever I find the time. And then last but not least, just briefly want to update that, yes, I'm still playing Fortnite. Aloy came out. I spent the money. I now have my cross-promotional character where Aloy from the Sony game Horizon Zero Dawn is in my Fortnite. I can use her spear to mine the wood or the rock and make a wall or staircase, and then get blown up by the 12-year-olds who have been playing this game for the past 4 years on their phones as they explode into a tower as I shoot them. My matches are getting rough. I feel like the more you play, you kind of get pulled out of those pools of a lot of the beginner players or the bots. So now all the people I'm fighting are the the very experienced players. They could be 12, they could be 26, I don't know. But that's kind of where I'm at with Fortnite right now. I actually need to start getting good because these players I'm fighting are very good. And I usually end up getting big blown up when I actually fight these players. So I kind of just got to nut up and shut up and start to learn the game. I'm still enjoying it. It is a little bit frustrating. I feel like I'm starting to get to the point where it's I'll hit a wall and be I kind of need to take a break from Fortnite. But at the same time, as I'm taking that break, it's almost like a parasite in my head, and it's oh, but Corey, we should get back to playing Fortnite. It's a lot of fun, and I am having a lot of fun with it, even though I'm not doing as well. But I'm kind of seeing that oh, this is something that if I keep practicing at it, I will eventually get better at it. It's just a new skill, and it's difficult for me to try to parse basically controlling my actions. Oh, when is it the right time to build the barricades, or when is it the right time to shoot, or when is it the right time to heal? Trying to find out what weapons and healing items I should be carrying and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
I hear you.
I'm enjoying it, and I'm spending big monies on it. They got me.
Oh no. Come back, Corey.
But that being said, that was pretty much my week. What do you got, Mike?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't really been playing too much in the game department. Again, I had a very busy weekend. I had my brother's birthday, like I mentioned. Some stuff to do around the house. But I did catch up on playing some Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, and I have to say, the more I play this game, the more I'm enjoying it. It's really great. Oh, good news, by the way! I finally got another episode up for you guys to watch. So please go check it out.
Nice.
I've been very overdue with that, but I finally got that up, as well as an AM2R video. Now I'm still looking forward to the next time we can sit down and play that game because we can get more footage recorded. But the Minish Cap, great game. I actually want to comment that moving on to the third dungeon is a pretty interesting. That definitely not as tedious as the second dungeon. Second dungeon took forever to get to. Completing it wasn't that bad. But great game, great sound design, good villain. Even the boss fights are pretty good too. I'm just enjoying it. So can't really comment much on that. I didn't get a chance to sit down and play on my Switch at all for the last week, which kind of bummed me out.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Adulting, man, it's rough.
It happens.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe this week I'll get back to playing some more. One thing I definitely did was while I was getting all my housework done on Saturday, I binge watched a show up until the most recent episode that is available, and this is a show called Invincible. I think we talked about this before.
Yeah, you did. And last podcast.
So I finally went to watch it, and before I knew, I watched all the episodes. I think we're up to episode 6 now, and episode 7 should be airing on Fridays. I think Fridays when they have the new episodes. And I will say, this show is pretty cool. It's I'm not going to spoil too much, but as I mentioned before, I think I mentioned last week, it's a superhero show. It's based on the comic book Invincible, and I just learned that it is actually by the same guy who made the Walking Dead graphic novels, and I think he worked on the TV show. Kirkman, I can't remember his first name. I think Robert Kirkman. So Invincible is the name of a young superhero that the comic book is about, and essentially he's half human and half. I guess half whatever his father's. I forget. Basically, his father is Omni-Man, which is this comic book version of Superman. He's basically just like him. Like he's from a different planet, and everyone on the planet can fly and is super strong. And basically, there is like a Justice League in the world of Invincible, where like I think they're called the Guardians of the Globe. And there's all the characters are based on existing superhero characters. It's kind of they're almost like parodies, but it's just their interpretations of like, yes, this is this universe's Batman, this is this universe's Aquaman. So it's kind of cool. And just to start off, I'll say like again up to episode 6, you definitely have a good. Well, before I get carried away, episode 1 is just. It's just like The Boys. Episode 1 sucks me in. Because at first you think it's going to be like just a harmless like cartoon meant for kind of like meant for kids. Kind of like how the Justice League was. Like not the movie, the actual like animated series. But it turns out this is much more like the more recent DC animated shorts and movies where like it actually can get pretty graphic and it's like for like a mature audience. And I realized that because in this TV show, like it's animated, but there's cursing and there's actually a lot of blood and gore. It's basically, in my opinion, on the same level of something like The Walking Dead. And yeah, the first episode starts off nice and simple. Like it introduces you to this superhero world and to this character Invincible. But man, like. The end of the first episode is like infamous. I'm sure plenty of people have seen it on YouTube and everything. Like this clip, and it's just a very, very like action-packed, bloody and gory scene, and it just makes you think, "Oh my gosh, I gotta keep watching this show." Again, no spoilers. I'm just saying, like it made me say I have to see where the show's going. It's pretty cool. It's not like the best show I've ever seen, but it's a really neat little action-packed superhero show where like you don't know what's going to happen. There's aliens attacking the city, and there's these supervillains attacking the city, and it also all like centers around the character. His name's Mark, who is the superhero Invincible. Like he's only like 17 years old, so he's dealing with going like his whole life of being a normal kid, but then like his powers don't develop until he's like 17. So now he goes from being a high school kid to being now I'm a superhero. So he has to try it's kind of like what you see in other superhero movies. He has to like have a secret identity. He has to try to conceal this from his friends while trying to have like a social life with like with like a girlfriend. Like it's tough because he's constantly being called to go save the world. And it's interesting. I would highly recommend anybody who has Prime Video, go check it out.
That's really cool. I definitely also want to check that out because the art style it's really nice. It's pretty much the like modern DC style animation. At least that's what I thought it looked like.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely reminds me of like you said it perfectly of like the modern DC art style. Like and I will admit that one little critique I would say is like I was not really a fan of the lip syncing. That looked a little bit cheap. But that's just me. Anywho, that was my week.
Alrighty, and now we're going to move on into our questions from you, the listener. Take it away, Mike.
Okay, so this week I went back to our old format because this question I felt like I didn't want to just give like 4 answers and have people pick them. Because again, you can always submit your own answer, but I just simply said, what game do you guys want to see the most? Like what game do you want to see just announced at this year's E3 the most? Now that we know E3 is happening, like what's the game from any console, anything? What game do you just want to be? Like, are you so excited to see just get announced? You know, it could be a game that you're looking forward to, that's been rumored, a game that there's nothing about, but you just want to see it happen, you know? And we did get one good answer from, oh my gosh, Mr. Gabriel Corey answered.
I know that guy.
I know that guy too. And he wanted, do you want to share your answer?
Elden Ring.
No.
Kingdom Hearts 4.
No.
Metroid Prime 4.
Oh, please.
Half-Life 3! No, guys, come on. All those games, puny compared to Garfield Kart 2. Or was it Garfield Kart 3D? I forget what
I think.
Happy
420. I just want Odie to be a DLC character. Oh my gosh. But thank you very much, Corey. We appreciate your
shout outs to Game Bro Corey. Go check him out on Twitter, Instagram. I think he has a Twitch channel as well.
He's he's a loser. Don't do that.
All right, you heard it here. Never mind. He's a loser. Mike has good authority to say that he's a loser.
That's true. And it is 420. So so we also got one more answer from Mr. Mikey Loves Retro, and he said, let's see, he basically just wants, at the very least, to have a release date. Yes, Garfield Kart 15.
I can connect with all the listeners.
He would love just to see. Basically, he wants Breath of the Wild 2, or he has three answers actually. Breath of the Wild 2 is a great answer, obviously. Like, I'm also looking forward to that game being just like properly like, hey guys, here's the game, it's coming out.
Yes,
he please. Says also he would love to see the Final Fantasy Remake Part 2.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Which again, I haven't played Part 1 yet, but I've heard good things. And then I admit, when I heard that it's only the Midgard chapter, it's like, my God, this game's a fraction of what the game could have been, you know? So yeah, I agree. Part 2 would be really exciting. Oh my gosh.
I definitely don't want to like shatter his expectations, but from what I understand, or maybe this was just he say, she say from listening to other gaming podcasts I heard, but I believe Square is trying to focus right now on developing Final Fantasy 16. So from what I understand, I think it's going to be a little bit of a ways off until we actually get that part 2. But hey, what do I know? It's 420. Happy 420. Who knows?
Yeah. Mikey also says one other final thing. He's clearly a Final Fantasy fan. He also says he would love to see another remake, maybe of a game like Final Fantasy number 6, which I know is a very popular game in the series.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Yeah. I'm guessing he means. I'm sorry. I'm guessing he means not like on the same scale as Final Fantasy VII remake, but just seeing a remake of a classic Final Fantasy game.
I'd be curious to know if he, and by all means, you're allowed to send in this response. What was his name again? I apologize.
This is Mikey Loves Retro on Instagram.
Mikey Loves Retro. You could elaborate on this. Like, I wonder if he wants almost like the when they did like those Final Fantasy remakes for like the DS, and they actually added like the 3D models. Like, I wonder if he wants like really clean like 3D assets, or if he would prefer maybe like Octopath Traveler style, where they keep like all the fidelity of the 2D sprites, but kind of like make beautiful like 2D/3D like hybrid,
like Diorama World. Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Either or would probably be dope.
But thank you, Mikey Loves Retro, for answering our question of the week. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Mike.
Go check him out on Instagram, guys.
He's got good taste.
Oh yes. But yeah, that'll do it for our question of the week.
I was like, you gotta fill me in, Mike. I'm not looking at these in front of me.
I know. I'm sorry, I forgot.
To lean behind the curtain, guys. I don't know. Mike could just be making all this up for all I know.
Yeah, you got me. Happy 420, everybody.
Happy 420. Guys, that's going to do it for the podcast. I am Game Bro Corey, the loser. Come watch the loser lose at Fortnite, or maybe lose at Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, over at twitch.tv/GameBroCorey. And guess what? You can also watch me lose on Twitter and Instagram. You can give me a follow, and you'll get the updates right away when I'm ready to go lose. That's Game Bro Corey, twitch.tv, Twitter, and Instagram. What do you got to plug, Mike? Where you at?
Well, if you guys want to find me, I'll be in the alleyway behind Patty's Pub, making some brownies with cricket in the It's just, they're good for you. They're full of energy. They'll give you lots of vitamins. But no, if you guys ever want to find me, you can find me on Instagram or YouTube at The Collector's Vault. If you guys love collectibles or collectible trading cards, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, any of that stuff, sports memorabilia, please stop by. I have a lot of, I think, pretty fun and entertaining videos about cards in the secondary market, and even a couple of good memes and jokes here and there. And yeah, don't forget to check out my Instagram. If you guys ever just want to reach out, if you have any questions, I love to hear from you guys. And Corey does too. Make sure you go drop him a follow and go watch him lose at any game that he plays on his Twitch stream.
Now that we made it to the end of the podcast, now it's time for the real 420 heads. Mike, what's your favorite strain of weed?
Pineapple Express.
Oh, nice. I was going to say Super Mario 64,000.
Oh, no. It's the Frankenstein. Why do you call it the Frankenstein? Because you get so stoned you walk around like this.
You get bolts in the side of your head.
Yeah. Great movie for anybody who loves Yeah, that's actually the best video game movie to watch on 420. Grandma's Boy. Wouldn't you agree?
The brownies are kicking in.
Oh man, have you not seen that movie before?
I honestly only once.
Okay, but you have seen
it
before.
minute.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness, yeah.
Plus, I probably watched a neutered version because it was on Comedy Central, not the unrated. Yeah. If they showed a little titty or something, who knows?
No, it just might. It just might.
Happy 420.
Happy 420. Charlie, stop eating those brownies. There's enough medicine in them to kill a horse.
Guys, these green meatball pizzas, so good.
Look, Mark, you underestimate my ability to handle my narcotics.
Oh, yo, man. Pass that over, dude.
Oh, big rips. Everyone gets a turn. COVID who? Happy 420.
Happy 420.